The audio is on. Main camera is up, and we're here. Hey.
What's up, Jim?
What's up, Jim? What's up, Corn Nut? Hey, hey, hey. How's everybody doing? Not to be confused with Cornhole. Oh crap. What did I do?
I'm pretty good at cornhole.
Are you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically it's beanbag toss for grown-ups. I mean, I find it funny that we have to rename it and call it something.
Tennessee.
Trinidad Tobago in the house.
TTT.
Figured you guys would take the day off.
I wanted to.
Me? I mean, we'd love to take the day off, but the show must go on, as they say.
Can we take a month off?
Yeah, no doubt. Oh my God, that would be wonderful. Like the whole month of January. I could do March.
I don't want to do January.
I would do March. I like March because March is cool.
I want to do December. Because December is a holiday. You spend the whole month
celebrating Christmas.
Yeah. Why not?
I mean, I'm not going to argue the point. I mean, yeah, I'll take what you could get. Putting in a CXA801 this weekend.
Nice.
Wonderful amplifier. Nice. The only amplifier we've ever dynoed. So, yeah. Hey, from Kentucky, Columbus, Ohio, and Arizona, checking in.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on? So this week was Minnesota. I love saying that. Timmy D, what's up? From the home state. And that's why I left. I left because you came.
Oh, really?
No.
That's what you think?
No, not at all. They had snow in Michigan this week, up where Tommy is. So.
What's up, Brian?
What's up, fellas? Anthony, what's going on? Can you tell me my trick and tips on a Pioneer? I mean, we have a ton of videos on that one. That's for sure. That's old enough. There's a bunch of them out there. Detroit City rocks, Texas. Hello from Texas. I kind of early for questions, but Dean, what's your favorite DSP? I honestly do not have currently a favorite DSP. I love them all, except for one, which shall not be named because you guys can guess which one it is.
I feel when you start working, like for example, car audio, right?
Yeah.
And you as a retailer or installer, you play with a lot of them, and you're like,
yeah.
You know, this one does the job, this one does the job, this one, it's like, whatever does the job is...
That's why I bought it, because of the dyno. I mean, the thing is DSPs now are getting to the point to where there are so many of them that... I just wanted to make it straight, it was bugging me. And they all do... A lot of them do very similar functionality. Mm-hmm. You know, really it comes down to, do you like a parametric EQ or do you like a graphic EQ?
I think parametric is just must to have.
I don't feel it's a must. I feel it's nice, but I don't feel it's a must.
Okay.
Because I mean, AudioControl is a graphic.
No, it's fine.
Just I can bang.
I'm not saying.
I think it's just.
But it's like when you have it, it's like,
yeah.
You know, you can play a little bit more. It's just one here, one there.
I don't know, because I mean, you look at like the Alpine and a couple of them that use that software, and they give you the option for parametric or graphic. And I always start out with the parametric.
And do you end it out with the
graphic? No, I stick it to the parametric, but it's not any. It's not like it's any. I feel like okay, so a 31 band graphic EQ is great. I feel like a 15-band parametric EQ is perfect.
Yes.
I think a 31-band parametric EQ, like a DSR-1, just becomes a pain in the ass.
I think a parametric EQ is nice because you have more options to play with it. I mean, not options, but just...
Well, you can really narrow it down.
Exactly. You know, you can play with that band.
Yes, you can move it more.
Just narrow.
So that's why I say I think 15 bands is perfect for a parametric.
But graphic is awesome.
No, I would say I don't think either one of them are the end-all be-all. It's just a matter of which one you get done working with. Hey, how did Fernando get hired? Well, that's a wonderful question. It was Paul and I. Paul, when 5-Star started here in Florida, because Paul moved here from Ohio. I do not own 5-Star. He does not own 5-Star. We both are employees of 5-Star.
Hey, Larry.
Now, I own my own company, which is what makes this happen, which is Smash Force Productions. So all the entertainment that you guys have and all the entities of it and everything that surrounds you is a product of Smash Force Productions. 5-Star, this is actually Paul. It has nothing to do with me other than I get a paycheck every week and he gets one too.
It's a bonus.
So Paul moved here from Ohio, which is where Five Star originated
Yeah.
from. He came here to get out of the cold and and moved here to Florida. Decided he wanted to get back into this for some reason, and so I know I'm making this the long story, but it makes more sense.
Yeah.
I was tired of where I was working. I'd been working at a place for 21 years. I wanted to change. He got this facility because when he first opened, he was using somebody else to do it, meaning like a whole different company was doing his installation. He just wanted to do over the counter, but he saw that just wasn't working for him here like it had in Ohio. So he was like, I'm going to have to bring it in-house. He rented this facility, so when I moved here, it was literally just 6 walls, nothing. And dude, from day one, we had installs. So it was like I literally showed up with my bucket because I hadn't had time to move anything, and there was no workbenches, there was no nothing. So I came to work, and there was actually, he hired someone else because he thought I needed an assistant. And this guy sucked bad. So he worked with me the first day, and I told Paul to call him and tell him not to come back ever again because it was just not going to happen. So like the first year or two, I think it was like the first 2 years, I worked by myself here, which is what I was doing at the other place too, so it wasn't like it was that far out of reach. But it started to get busier and busier, and that became more of a hassle because it was like I just couldn't keep up with all the work we were doing. Fernando worked for another stereo shop up the street. We'll just call it the flea market style shop. You guys all have them in your town. So they would come here and buy equipment from us because Paul's also a wholesaler, so he supplies products to a lot of the small dealers in the area. And so Fernando would come here and pick up the equipment. He would also, like, he didn't understand how to do steering wheel controls, so he would come and ask me how to do them. Anytime they ran into a headache, he'd come over, I'd help him. Paul would give him a hard time. So then it got to the point where it was like, okay, we need to hire a third person. And it was like, who do we want? And so some names were thrown out there, and I was like, what about Fernando? He kind of fit the bill. For one, Paul wanted somebody that spoke Spanish, because in this area there is a lot of Latino community. There's a big Latino community here that speaks Spanish, so we kind of were leaning towards getting something. And
more business, of course.
You know, it's a very diverse area. I mean, Paul's Indian, you're Spanish. I'm Larry, the white guy that people think is funny.
That's Larry right there.
Yeah, exactly. So then we approached Fernando and said, hey man, would you like to come work for us? And he was of course intimidated because he was like, he wasn't on the level that we needed him to be. And I was like, I don't want you to be that guy. I need you to be the guy you are, which is show up to work, listen to what I say, and just follow me around and do what I do. And so he was like, okay.
Well, because when I came many times to actually ask for help with Dean, I saw him just building a full inside custom in the truck, right? In the Dodge Ram.
Yeah.
That was like crazy. So I'm like, wow, that's so cool. And then you have more projects, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to work in here. You know, it's like, it's not going to happen. If they hire me, they probably just like fire me in the next week. I was not the guy that I am right now. Like, oh
no,
yeah,
because you thought we wanted you to just come in here and like know everything, and it was the opposite of
right.
that. I took more to Fernando because he didn't know that much, and I was like, I can train him. I've been training installers for years. I mean, at that point, I was 23 years in the industry at that point, so I was like, I've trained countless guys how to do installation. That's not a big deal. I would much rather have somebody that is willing to learn and trainable than somebody that walks in and be like, bro, I know everything. Just get out of my way. I'm like,
yeah.
I personally don't work well with that. I know my limitations as a human being. That would drive me up the frickin' wall. Because there's only one master. There's only one sergeant. There's only one master chief, you know?
Yeah.
And everything else, just, you know, follow the rules.
But that's how I ended up here.
Yeah, so that was what, 7 or 8 years ago. So good times. All right, so we're into the show a couple minutes. Let me just start over here. Thanks for giving us your shout outs. Keep giving that. We'll
Thank you for the questions. $10, David. Hey man, just wait.
What are we waiting for?
David's waiting on his
bought his. All right, we'll get to that in a second. All right, we do have some housekeeping to do real quick. So to help us pay for the show because the show's not free. That brings us to the sponsor of the show this week, which is AudioControl, and we're super to have them be a sponsor of the show. We picked a product that I am really excited about, which is the new LC1i. Now we're gonna talk about it, but I don't want to talk about it yet. I just want you guys to think about this. This is a high level to low level adapter, but it's unique in many ways, and one in particular that came up as a question this week on our live Instagram show, and I was like, there's something missing. I was like, I have a solution to this problem, and it is this piece right here. And of course, we will talk about that at the halfway point. We'll come back. But for right now, we would like to thank AudioControl for being a proud sponsor of this show and helping us pay the bills. Also, for those of you guys that are interested, we'll talk more about this too in a little bit. This is Mobile Solution and us have teamed up to come out with Jesus. D wire ruler, or you can just call it the wire ruler for short. This guy right here.
Kind of tricky, right?
This guy right here. I was against the blue. I'm not gonna lie, I was against the blue, but both Fernando and Brian love the blue, and everyone was big on the blue. I like these colors here. They're super awesome to see. So, but we'll if you haven't, I won't go deep into these, but if you haven't seen how these work, by all means, head over to the 12 Volt Clean Wire Club over on Facebook. If you're not a member, go over to the 12 Volt Clean Wire Club right here. Click on the announcement tab right here, and you can find right here we talk about it. We give you an overview, and of course we also posted the picture today of the finished product. So head over there, check that out, and of course we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show if we have time, because I know we need to just jump into these questions and get hopping to them. So Fernando, lay something on me, will you?
All right. It's a CCA 8-gauge wire, good enough for a 3-relay turn on for fans, lights, and small stuff like that.
So if it's an 8-gauge CCA, that's about the equivalent of a 10-gauge copper, okay, depending on length. So if you can turn on those, if what you're going to turn on can work off of a 10-gauge copper, then there's no reason why you couldn't use a 8-gauge CCA. The problem that you're going to run with isn't going to be the current draw. It's going to be that eventually what's going to happen is the CCA is going to have some form of electrolysis, corrode, and fall apart. The power wire will literally turn to dust. So once it starts getting wet and starts getting corrosion and the metals start to react to one another, it's not going to last long. So if it's something that you don't ever want to do again, don't use it.
All right, I have a component set up from Hertz.
Nice.
I want to install it in my 2004 G35. No place in the door for the 4-inch. Any recommendations?
I think we ran into this problem this week with the G35. Fernando, of course, has a 3-way set. We're going to be using it as a 2-way set because, yes, there is no place to put the 2.5 without building some form of an A-pillar.
A-pillar, yeah.
So without building some form of a custom A-pillar for the car, you're going to have a really hard time.
So my idea first was use the tweeter and make something in there so you can put the 3.5 and just make the small hole on the A-pillar. You still have to make something, so it's no either.
Okay, so hold on, look at Fang of Truth. How many will actually zip tie the ruler to the project? Hold on. I'm going to grab something real quick just to sidetrack. You can read another question.
All right, hang on. Hey guys, any recommendations on the hydraulic crimper looking to do many zero ring terminals, and seems like Amazon eBay crimpers are not true gauges.
All right.
Thanks for the advice.
All right, hold on a second.
You have it in there?
Yeah.
Oh, right there, yeah.
All right, so let's head over to the laptop real quick. The place you can go to find all the cool tools that we use in our show is, of course, D and F tool drawer. That's mine right here on the top. If I go back real quick, you go to D and F tool drawer. D and F tool drawer is a place where we put links to everything we use. Come down here to hand tools, click on it, and you click on this guy right here. That one. This is the tool we use for crimping zero gauge.
Yeah.
We use it every day. It's fun to use.
I mean, it's very easy.
Grab the Fernando cam. We'll switch to the camera, which I should have up and running. You're already on. And this is it right here.
A little bit heavy.
A little bit heavy. Now, what makes it cool is it comes with all these dies. Okay, all these little dies that you can see. They do a real crappy job of organizing them. They fall out, of course.
Ow, my finger.
Sorry. The one we use for 0 gauge is the number 35. So up inside here, you'll see the little number 35. That's the one we use. How this works is it has this cool little turn it on. Let's see which.
Right.
It was already on.
Right there. Yeah.
So and then you just start pumping, and the little piston here in the end is gonna pop out. And this is the stopper. So once you get there, you're done. That's it. That's all you gotta do. And then you twist the little thing to let the thing back out.
The devil, and
this is the tool we use
for 0.
For 0, it works good. And to be honest, I stole it from Steve. I saw him using the video, and I just screenshotted the one he used, and I ordered that.
Yeah, now he uses it.
Well, now I'm using a $5,000 Makita tool.
Yes, so, now is the Makita.
Well,
if you have $5 grand,
Steve's doing better than we are. So, what I wanted to grab over there, this is. Hold on, let me go back to your camera for a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry. So you talk about zip ties. So this is our bag of 4-inch zip ties. This is how they come to us. They come in 1,000 in a bag, and we order about 10 bags at a time. So these are how they come. So when you guys ask how many zip ties do we use all of these many times over. So we use a shit ton of zip ties.
Oh, totally.
So, and it also makes a nice pillow if you need to take a nap.
Did you ever take a nap?
I've never taken a nap. I was super excited because I was hoping that Thanksgiving I was actually going to get to take a nap, but no.
No.
Those Klein strip tools look nice. They are.
Yes. And we ordered the
these guys right here. Those things are pretty. They're pretty awesome. I will tell you this: any stripper like this. Oh yeah, we ordered the lugs.
This is the logs that we ordered.
All right, well, hold on. We'll go back to that. Oh, hold on. Oh, whoa, we're like picture in a picture. That was weird. Hold on. Go back to the Fernando cam. This is the lug we order. It's a 0 gauge copper lug. Pretty much standard copper lugs that you can get pretty much anywhere. We get them from Amp Global, but it's the same ones. I think even Home Depot might sell those.
Yep.
Anyways, back to the laptop. These strippers, this style stripper is phenomenal. We buy tons of them. We actually have had almost every one of these that they make. Right now I'm rocking these, but I buy them about 5 at a time. And the reason why I do that is because inside of here, see that little spring that's between those two silver things? There's 2 of those springs, one on the front, one on the back. And with as much as that we use them, and I actually have 2 pairs that I use at the same time so that I can extend out the life of them, what happens is that spring breaks. Now, even though Klein will give you a lifetime warranty on them, it just becomes more of a hassle to deal with the lifetime warranty because like Lowe's won't honor the lifetime warranty on any of them. But no, these are awesome. And it doesn't matter whose you have. So that spring on any version of this tool will eventually break. However, if you're a casual user, it'll probably never break on you. It takes us about 8-9 months in order for it to break. Yeah. And the nice thing is, as long as only one breaks at a time, you can still use them. Yeah. So it's like one will break.
Oh yeah, because I have mine, and this is just one.
You got one on yours? Yeah, usually it's the front. Yeah, so he's got the vice grip ones, which I have too. Yeah. So here's the. Here, grab your camera. Is that the good one? Yeah. So like this is, see, as you can see here, this is the vice grip version. He's got the spring on this one, but on this one the spring is already broke. But it's got the back spring, so as long as it has one screen that functions, these things are going to get used until that back spring breaks. And when that breaks, that's why they put this cover on it. This one, on the other hand, when this thing breaks, you just hope it doesn't hit you in the face.
I'm going to put a zip tie on it.
Because let me tell you what, man, when that thing goes, it's like, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Fire in the hole!
Oh my gosh, yeah. Alright,
somebody say, hey guys, I went to your tool drawer and get the foam tape. Yes. There is no option for the 132 showing on Amazon. That they stopped selling it?
There's always a possibility that they stop selling stuff.
Sometimes they change it constantly.
You know, if we order something and it's not where it needs to be, then, you know, we'll go back in and change the store. I haven't maintenanced the store in a few days or a few minutes, so there is a possibility that, it isn't there. But usually when it's not there, that just means it's moved on to something else.
I gotta be on install stuff.
Yeah, no, I was gonna close this one.
Huh.
Install stuff. Let's see what they have. Quarter. I thought it was a 16th inch. Yeah, it is a 16th. We don't use it's a 16th. You want the 16th inch. It's the stuff that pops up. If you get too thin, a 16th inch works fine. Yeah, that's the stuff we use. So this tape.
The 16th, yeah, it goes.
It's a 16th. It goes. I thought it was a 32nd because I think originally bought 8th many years ago. Yeah, my brain, you know how it is. But hold on, grab the camera. Oh, this is like, I'm glad I charged this battery today. So this is it's a 16th. So this is what it is. This is the 1/2 inch, 16th thick stuff. So that's a 16th of an inch. I know. Basically, the 16th works good. The whole idea is you just don't want it to warp the basket. Some of these baskets that these speakers are made out of is freaking cheap. Yeah. Froze in the house. I talked to him the other day.
Besides RAM 911 video with the Audio Frog 3-way set, have you put any other 3-way set into 2019 and up RAM?
No. Not that I can think of. No. I don't think so.
No, not like a 3-way set, no.
No. However, I think there's one on the books.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think we're going to do... I could have swore one is on the books. I don't know, man. I talked to so many people.
I have a Kenwood KDC X704 that has subwoofer level. Do I adjust that to the max of the 10 and leave a 0? I have a 12 with the gain set properly.
Hello from Ontario. All right, so the question is, and we've talked about this, and this is a great question, and I like it, because that means that at some point somebody was listening and was like, wait a minute. If you have subwoofer level control on the radio, do you set, and you leave, let's say you set up your gain structure and you leave it at 0. Mm-hmm. Do I set, meaning you set that at 0, and then you go back and you tune your amplifier and you set it for 0 dBs of overlap. Do I now leave it at 0 dBs and just adjust my subwoofer level like that, which, yes, that would be wonderful, or do I do it the opposite way? Do I do like 10 dBs of overlap, put that at 10 and do it? So either way is going to work for you, but just so that you don't set it at 10 dBs of overlap at subwoofer level 0 and then turn the subwoofer level up to 10, because that would be like 20 dBs of gain overlap, and for sure you're going to do some damage at that point. But no, if you've leveled everything out at 0 and you set the gain structure to 0, then yes, turning up the subwoofer level now, you'll be fine. You'll have all the gain overlap that you could possibly want. And what gain overlap basically is, for those of you that are going to ask that question next, is that if you set everything up to 0 dB of volume, meaning that this is the loudest this radio will play, right here, and I need to match that output voltage to my amplifier so that there's no distortion. Okay, so I play my 1000 hertz or my 40 hertz or whatever frequency I'm going to use, and I set up that volume here so that it is perfectly zeroed out, meaning that these two now, there is no distortion coming from here because I've figured out where my volume is on this, and I've set it at that. Now I've come to my amplifier and I've turned my gain up so that the gain now is matched, perfect for my radio. The problem with that is that not all music is recorded the same. Also, you might want your rear speakers not as loud as my front speakers. So or you may have tweeters, a 3-way set, and you want to turn things down. That's okay. Always turn down, don't turn up. So, if you add in negative 5 dBs of gain overlap, what that basically means is like, so here's the 0 floor. Here's 0 on my radio, here's 0 on my amplifier. I'm going to make my amplifier a little bit more sensitive than what my radio is putting out. And the reason for that is so that I have some room to move my volume, maybe a little bit louder. I'm listening to some old school stuff that is recorded crappy, or maybe turn it down some when I'm listening to some new school stuff that is recorded really well. So it's just made to give you some fluctuation. What has happened is that everyone just says, I've set it up for negative 5 dB, and they turn it all the way up. So now they're like, okay, cool, I'm going to pump 5 dBs worth of distortion into my speakers. Sometimes if you have a quality speaker, meaning it's a well-built, just it can handle the heat that is going to be generated from that, you're okay. It's like on a subwoofer. A subwoofer with a big magnet, a big spider, a super voice coil, and decent tinsel leads will obviously take a little bit more abuse than, let's say, a tweeter. Tweeter isn't going to take any abuse. They're going to be like, I'm out. And then you're like, oh, I blew my tweeters. So negative 5 dB on mids and highs is fine. A lot of the times on a subwoofer, if it's a shallow mount, I try to stay at negative 5. If it's a bigger woofer, I might go up to negative 10, or I'll just leave it at 0 and leave my subwoofer level control at 0, and that way they can just floor it up and go to town. Or what I'll do is I'll floor it up all the way, turn everything up, and then I'll set it at 10 from there, so I know that the maximum they'll get is 10. So that's what it does. That is one of the uses for gain overlap. There's obviously more, but we don't need to get into them because they don't pertain to the question.
All right.
Sorry.
I have a 2012 GMC Sierra with Bose and no nav. Factory radio is excellent on FM reception. The aftermarket radio has a horrible reception. I replaced the antenna adapter 2 times and still no good. Any recommendations?
Do you have any amplifiers in the car? That would be my first question, is do you have any aftermarket amplifiers in the car? And if you do, specifically, do you have a sub-amp or a highs amp that's a class D? If you do, that could be the reason for the problem, is that class D amplifiers actually put out, if not properly shielded, will just destroy FM reception in a car. Secondly, if you're talking about a GM, there might be an amplified antenna, so like of a Tahoe or something like that. Well, it's not, because you said you had a mast. So a mast means there is actually no amplified antenna whatsoever. So if it just sucks, it sucks. There's nothing to do there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it like in a Tahoe or something like that, or if it has the little puck on the roof, those are amplified antennas, meaning there is a power source that you need to trigger, which is going to be the blue wire in the harness, possibly the blue-white wire in the harness, but I think on a GM it's still a blue wire. And that needs to see the 12 volts in order to turn on that little amplifier in order to get your reception. If it's not, then that would explain why your reception sucks. I think on a 12, though, I think you just have a regular antenna, which means that there is nothing. However, when you replace the antenna, okay, one of the things I've ran into on a GM mast-style antenna is that the actual mast went bad. But if it worked fine with the factory radio, like you've been able to flip-flop between them two and they work fine, it's not that either. So it could just be you got like a radio with crappy FM antenna.
All right.
Sorry.
Will the Kenwood with the Kenwood X3C? What is the Kenwood X3C?
I have no idea.
Work with the 7-inch mid as the good component set.
Oh, X3C is the little 3-inch, the little 3.5 inch.
By itself?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
X3C. Yeah, you have the X3C and the X2C.
Okay. So the 2.5 and
the 2.5 or the 3.5. So what are we trying to do with it?
If they work with the mid base, the 7-inch.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Phenomenal.
That would be good.
I would totally do that.
Alright, let's see.
Why do some manufacturers still make Class AB sub-amps? They're affordable. It's cheaper. At the end of the day,
they're getting better, I think.
They're cheaper. No, they're not. What, about making Class D sub-amps?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just because they're cheaper.
I mean, back in the day, they're like always create these noises and everything.
Well, no. What he's saying is, why are they still making a Class AB sub-amp as opposed
AB.
to the opposite of what you're
I'm like
thinking?
D. I'm like, what?
I know. I'm like, he's not. He didn't get what I was saying. It's just because it's cheaper, and that's it. I don't get it myself, but.
All right. Do you believe in SQ amplifiers, mainly when adding a DSP? Like, could anybody hear a difference between $150 amplifier versus $1,000 one with the same processing? Well, that will be just right there. They're not gonna have the same processing. $150 and $1,000, they're not gonna have the same thing.
No, you're never gonna get the same out of both. Okay, so the question is this for the audience out there that was like, you know, took a moment out to get a drink. Is it really essential to have a sound quality amplifier? So, for example, if I go out and I buy a brand X amplifier that costs $150, that's 300, 300.2, so it's 150 or 75 by 2. Mm-hmm. Or if I buy a $1,000 Tony D'Amore amplifier that costs $9,000. Okay, or he said 1,000. So let's scale it down to a Voce 5.1 or a Voce Duo or something like that. Is there an audible difference? And the answer is, God, yeah. What are you kidding me? There's a total difference. The best example of that is look at like a Kicker CS amplifier and compare it to either a Q class or a KX amplifier. They both make 1,000-watt amplifiers, but they sound totally different. The sound signature is totally different. The components that go into the two of them are totally different. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter whether you have a DSP attached to it or not. The resolution coming out of the amplifier, what it can resolve for you to hear, totally different. Now, can everybody hear the difference? I'll agree with you on that. No.
Not everybody, yeah.
Not everyone can hear the difference. And the reason for that is because if it's not your thing, you don't care.
Right.
Haley has a Kicker Key with KS speakers in her car. She had the original KS and the 1.800 or 180.4. All right? We switched those out for the new KS and the 200.4. We could immediately hear the difference.
Oh, it's just like,
holy cow.
Yeah.
Her, nah.
Well, okay, so I have a story. So one of our friends just bought a brand new Lexus, right? Brand new Lexus. And the volume all the way up, factory system and everything. And I get in and I'm like, wow, this sounds horrible. But for them, this is the greatest sound system ever. It's like, this is, and I'm like, no, it's like,
please stop. That's when I politely.
The speakers are like.
That's when I politely lean through the seats and I turn it down and go, don't do that when I'm in your car.
Yeah. But it's just that, you know. For some people, you might hear the difference. Other people, they will not care.
So if you're a guy that does this or a gal that does this and this is your thing, I guarantee you will totally hear the difference. If you didn't, what would be the reason for buying?
Correct.
You know,
making it.
I mean, let's just look at cars in general, or most things in general. I like to compare the hamburger story. Okay, this is always my put it in perspective for everyone to wrap your head around. McDonald's sells hamburgers for 89 cents. All right, whatever it is for a cheeseburger, I don't know. Okay, I don't eat them. Okay, I did at one point. I don't anymore. Anyways, it's a hamburger or a cheeseburger. Okay, you can buy, you eat it. Cool, right? Sometimes that's really what you want. Other times you don't. You want to go to the fine steakhouse that takes aged whatever wacko beef and grinds it up. A little guy in the background grinds it up, puts his salt and pepper in it, and he hands you your $25 burger, and you take that first bite, and you're like, oh my God. Okay. Or you scale it back a little bit, and you have a $10, Outback burger, and you're going, yeah, this is way better than that 89 cents. Okay. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a bun with a piece of beef, maybe some ketchup and mustard. If you're a pansy and put mayonnaise on it, it's all you, bro. I don't care.
But is that different?
But it's still a burger.
Yeah.
But I will guarantee you'll be like, garbage? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So.
Just like anything. All right.
Wagyu. Yeah, that's it. Not a beef guy.
How would I phase the 2 Quadzilla Kicker box on a Ford Excursion?
Oh, how would you face it? I mean,
I would.
I want it to sound good. I face it up.
I face it up.
I'm not. So you want it loud and to sound good. That's the whole purpose of the box. Face the thing up.
And by the way, that was Jay's alarm. Remember, he drove all the way here to California.
Yeah.
So
I would face it up.
I would face. I mean, you can play with it. You can do it like this, but I would keep it up. So, yeah.
That's how that's how I feel on eat an In-N-Out burger.
Yeah, but
Haley and Sue had to have In-N-Out burgers when we were in California, and so In-N-Out burger only sells burgers. Like they're not like everyone else. Like maybe have a hot dog or chicken sandwich. Nope. So that night, Dean ate French fries. I wasn't upset because they have good French fries, but yeah, ports face back. Port face back. Yeah, fire it up, port face back, sit back, enjoy it, and just let the car shake itself to pieces.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, Louisville,
Aiden.
Kentucky. Hold on, in the house. Okay,
Hey, what's up? Aiden, he dropped $5. Thank you. Hey guys, I have a rear Underseat Fox acoustic box in my truck. Could moving my amp behind the rear seat near the sub hurt them for the vibration?
No. Just don't mount the amp to the box. You'll be fine. I mean,
I think it's a truck. You cannot mount it in the box.
So, all right. To mount the amp to the box or to not mount the amp to the box will be a debated subject in car audio forever.
Forever.
Okay? Because there are some guys that are perfectly fine with doing it, and that's cool, you know? Just like I made the decision to not eat red meat, I also made the decision in my life to never mount an amplifier to the box. Along with the vibration, which there again, you either have it or you don't. I mean, if you got an 8-inch woofer, it's not really doing much, okay? And if you look at like a Rockford P300, the amplifier's mounted in the box. However, what makes that amplifier different is they conformal coat the circuit board. Basically, they make it marine, and they do that not to make it waterproof, to make it vibration proof, okay? So one of the advantages of using a marine amplifier, if you're gonna mount it onto a subwoofer enclosure, is that all the parts are epoxied into it, so you can shake it all day long, and it won't do anything to the amplifier. Some of these other amplifiers, well, they're not so fortunate. But there again, you look at like the SPL guys, and they got these amps mounted everywhere. It just comes down to personal preference. For us, we don't like to do it. It's just like mounting the amp to the back of a seat. It's the dumbest place in the world to mount it. If you've done it, it's okay. I understand. The reason why I don't like to do it is the seat moves like this, and when you have wire bundle here that's moving constantly, it's just not the best way to do something. That's it. You know, there's one of those things that you have to make a decision. You're either for or against, right or wrong. You just run with it. I mean, trust me, it's a lot more difficult for us by not doing these things, because mounting the amp to the box would be super easy. And it's like mounting it to the seat would be super easy. We don't do those, so we actually have to spend more time coming up with better solutions for these things. So,
Mr. Jeff Smith.
Someone gave him there was a question that had it. I was trying to find it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know where it went.
All right, Graham from PA. I have two XS Power D4.800 and the XS Power 1000 Farad Super Cap.
Nice.
What benefit or drawback will I have switching to limbless lithium?
Man, that's when we need Jeff here, because Jeff has the stupid, or I don't know why I said stupid. Jeff has one of those awesome, I don't even know where stupid came from. Man, I'm tired. Sorry guys, it's been a long week. Jeff has one of those new lithium batteries up underneath the hood of his car that he, like, nothing.
Well,
lithium,
that would be stupid awesome. It's like, it's crazy
awesome.
because it has that jump, the jumper on the battery.
Really, the only thing that lithium scares me about, and there again, I don't really know enough about it. Hi-Fi Vega is the battery guy, as far as I'm concerned. Well, that's what he does for a living. He builds batteries.
Oh, there you know.
So, find one of the shows that he does Q&A on and ask him about batteries, because he's the guy to ask. All I can say is that the performance they're getting out of these lithium batteries is insane.
Yes.
Safety features, it's kind of scary sometimes. Oh yes, thank you, Jeff. He uses the anti-gravity batteries. And he did a ton of research, because Jeff, I will tell you now, is not the guy to just go run out and buy something. He's got to sit there and study the shit out of it until it just, like, and then he buys it, and then he gets super excited, and then he stands behind it, and then he's like super proud. And
lithium is amazing.
Yeah. So, if you're interested in lithium, that's the battery brand of Jeff Smith. So, anti-gravity, give him a shot. He loves it. He's just doing the one underneath the hood to power everything. So, it's pretty neat.
All right, there you go. That's the question right here. Jeff Smith says, some songs of the Yaska test disc is designed to make the vocals break up in less than perfect sound system. I forgot which one. So which one are the songs?
Pretty much anything with a woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the woman songs just make it fall apart.
Okay.
The more expensive handheld jumper starters use lithium. Oh no, dude, seriously, we know that. I mean, this guy, the one that we use, this
Halo.
Is it a Halo? The Halo jumper?
It says right there in the back.
Oh, the Halo jumper that we use, the Halo Bolt. Dude, if you can get yourself one of these bad boys, this will jumpstart a semi.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll jumpstart a semi, but
yeah,
it's pretty good. Fernando lived off of this thing for like 3 days when the power went out.
Yep.
So yeah,
we use microwave,
yeah,
light, chargers for the phones.
yeah.
Yeah.
Track 9, Hollywood Love is the song he's talking about to break
there you
up.
go.
Just push your system.
Thank you, Jeff.
Jeff Smith coming through in a clutch. Yeah, get him back on the show.
All right.
Man.
Wire up a voltage regulator to the dual alternator. I just install a battery insulator so much charging and cracking battery doesn't keep going dead.
Okay.
Okay. I thought it was a question there.
No, it's not really. It was just,
Well,
yeah.
that was just...
Well, adding a new voltage regulator is,
Yes.
like, especially in some of the newer cars, like the pickup trucks, like the Chevy, for one, that have these really obscure charging systems in them that can do, like, crazy stuff. That, yeah, adding a new voltage regulator, I don't remember the company that makes them, but some of those are, it can be really helpful.
Trust Art. $5. Thank you, man. Hey guys, if you're installing Morel 6.5 components using the passive crossover by amp, do you set the crossovers on your DSP as you normally will?
Yes. So are we going active or passive? What are we doing?
I'm gonna say it's by amp.
By amp. So that'd be passive or active. Okay, so all right.
Okay, yeah.
Regardless of brand, let's talk about this for a minute, because this is one of the things that anytime we post a picture of something and we have the passive crossovers next to the amplifier, people get all kinds of confused. Automatically, what are you looking for?
I'm gonna grab it.
Oh, okay. Automatically assuming because we have an amplifier with a DSP, they don't understand why we ran passive crossovers. It all has to come down to channels that you're going to run.
This is by amp?
No. That's not bi-amp. No, the bi-amp is right here.
This is by amp.
That's why we have them sitting right here, because the question gets asked a lot. So, what that means is that if you're running a 4-channel amplifier and you have a set of components, both 3-way, 2-way, whatever you want, you have a 4-channel amplifier. So if you're running a 3-way set and a set of speakers in the rear, that's your 4 channels. The 3-way set is going to need a passive crossover in there to direct those 6 channels of sound that it requires out of the 2 channels of the amplifier. So we'll do a D4800 and people will be like, why do they have these passive crossovers? That DSP can do that. No, it can't, because it only has 4 channels. How the passive crossover is designed to work, or an active crossover, it really doesn't matter, is it's a channel. So this, think of it as a Y jack for your output of your amplifier. You have 2 channels of output and you have 4 speakers. How is that going to work? With a passive crossover. So if you wire your input into the crossover here, both, this is bi-ampable, that's what these silver little things are, they're jumpers. So we're going to wire in our positive and our negative, either one, it doesn't matter because they're just jumpers. And then we're going to come out of here with our tweeters and we're going to come out of here with our mid-range. What this is doing for us is this is providing us with the bottom, or the lowest the tweeter is going to play, which is the bottom, and then it's going to give us the top for the mid-range, meaning the highest it's going to play. That's why you see the thing that looks like this, and I'm not doing like X-Force or anything like that, or like, oh, crummy. No. So the tweeter is going to play down to here, the mid-range is going to play up to here. What your amplifier is going to provide now is the bottom for the mid-range, because this does not provide the bottom for the mid-range. If you have a 3-way set, then it works a little differently. The passive crossover is going to provide a bottom for the tweeter, a top for the mid-range, a bottom for the mid-range, and a top for the mid-bass. Your amplifier is then going to provide a bottom for the mid-bass. The amplifier cannot do is provide all those things out to all those speakers without some kind of Y adapter or passive crossover. So, if you want to do a full active system where you have tweeter, mid-bass, you need an amplifier that can provide those things for them. So, since we're talking about audio control, if you have a 3-way set, they make a 6-channel amplifier. The LC61200 would be what you would want. Not the D, the LC. The reason why you'd want the LC is because you're going to do an external DSP, like a DM810, because you still have to have subwoofer output, maybe rear fill. Now, if the object of the system is just to do a three-way front set and a subwoofer, then yes, you can do the D61200 because it has a pass out for the sub amp. And you can do front tweeter, front mid, and front mid bass off of those 6 channels of amplifier. But it only has a set of outputs that are designed to just go off to a sub amp and nothing else. Or to a rear fill, and you'd have to find some other way to power up the subwoofer and add delay to it if you want it. So, hope that answers the question.
Alright, have you ever used a 7-inch Kenwood speakers on a 2018 Mustang? If you so, are they a better option than the 6.5s?
I don't think they would fit, to be honest with you.
I don't... Well...
No, because remember, you only have a 1/4 inch to come out for a spacer.
Yeah.
I don't think they would fit.
Yeah. But I mean, we put the flax.
Yeah, but the flax, remember, we have to use a thin spacer to do that. Okay, the flax is a 6.5 inch driver, not a 7-inch driver. To go from the 6.5 to the 7, they have a 1/2 inch spacer to jump that out. Because you'd have to do it, you'd have to cut the door, put them in. I don't think it'd be worth it. It'd be more. It just make more sense to go with a better 6.5 that could provide you the mid bass.
Yeah.
You know,
Totally.
that would be my idea.
Chad, thank you for the $10, man. Adding a PXE0850S to my system because of your suggestions. You say to run my rear speakers of the PXE. Will be better to run the tweeters off of the PXE and the rears of the Alpine PTR?
No.
It hurts Milli Pros.
No, God no, especially with the Milli Pro. So what they're talking about is the Alpine PXE0850S, and what makes that product so cool, it has an 8-channel, 25-watt amplifier built into it, along with 10 channels of
10
DSP.
channels,
Okay, so it's like the most affordable 10-channel DSP out there with an amplifier built into it. The reason you wouldn't run the Millis is the Millis need better power than that. That is an IC power chick. It'd be the equivalent of trying to power your Millis with deck power, which you would never do. So rears aren't that important. Run them off. Run the amplifier onto the tweeters. Get the better, cleaner signal, and then the rears run off of that. If you decide that you I really want more rear fill, you can pick up a small amplifier in the future to power those up and get more sound out of them. But no, I would never run anything other than, let's say, rear fill or tweeters off of that. No. Good?
All right. Quick question.
Quick answer.
Lawrence, thank you for the $4.99. I want to add the Morel 2.5 mids to a Hertz DC DSK165 3-ways components in order to make my own 3-way active. Good idea? All powered by the AudioControl ACM 4.300 and going to the DM810.
I don't know, man. I'm not feeling that. Because that efficiency on that Morel is going to really play havoc with the efficiency of those DCs. Because those DCs are super loud, super efficient, and that Morel is not. Audison also makes the same version of the speaker. You may want to check that out and see what the efficiency is on that to see if it pairs up better to the mid-range than the Morel does. That would be the only thing I have. You could also look into the kicker with the X2C, whatever it is that we were talking about earlier. They make a 2-inch too, that I feel is pretty efficient. The problem you'd run into is that if the DCs, which are like 1 watt, 1 meter, blast you out of the car, and then you have the Morel that is not that way, these will just be so loud, these won't, so you wouldn't even hear it. So you want to find something that kind of matches up to those speakers. Maybe also look at the Alpine. Alpine has their little mid-range too.
They have
that could possibly be closer to those DCs than the Morel. But
I forgot what.
Want to look at all of those and see what you come up with. Okay.
Yeah. All right, Rob. Thank you for the $5. You guys rock. Thanks for what you're doing.
Sweet. So fun.
I have a full cut flags 3 ways, and the left mid just starting crackling. I have them installed for 6 months. I flipped my mid speakers and it still doesn't on the left. Yeah, still do it in the left.
Do you have an answer for the question? I wasn't paying attention.
With the other mid, any idea? Okay, so what will be the rattling for? I have a full cut 3 ways and the left mid just starting crackling. I have them for 6 months.
So if we have a speaker that's crackling, I think is the question that we're looking at here. What could be causing it? You're going to have to go through the whole system and figure out, is it the speaker or is it something like a loose RCA? A lot of the times crackling is a loose RCA.
Well, right now he swapped the mid and still make it on the left side, so it's not the speaker.
It's not the mid, so now you got to go back to the power source or the signal source. Check your RCAs.
Check your RCAs, they might be loose. Yeah.
Okay.
That will be something.
Stop with the questions. We need to go back and it's laptop time. We got to talk about AudioControl because they're the sponsor, and it's now time to talk about what I was going to talk about earlier. It's so AudioControl is the sponsor of the show today. We're going to go to the laptop. We're going to take a look at this. Is the LC1i. The LC1i is a very unique high-level to low-level adapter. We just so happen to have one here. Grab your camera. And this guy here is the LC1i. And what's nice about this, along with it having the load generator built into it, so the LGDs are built into this, which someone asked earlier, when do you use LGDs? There's a couple different times to use them. Pretty much the blue LGDs you want to use all the time. Anytime you're pulling a signal and not having a speaker retained on the line. So for example, if you were going to hook up to a factory subwoofer and disconnect the factory subwoofer, a set of LGDs would be a good idea, at least a minimum of blue. Now if it's a Chrysler, you're going to want to look at the green. If it's a Chevy, you're going to want to look at the green. If it's an amplified system, then you're going to want to look at the grays. But either way, all of these are located here. What makes this difference is you'll notice there's RCAs here for output, RCAs here for input. The question we had this week was a guy was getting ready to hook up to a Honda system, and of course the years always get blurry in my head, and when you're hooking up for a subwoofer in that particular vehicle, it could be, if it's a premium sound system, it could either be a digital bus into the amplifier or an analog bus into the amplifier. Either way, you're going to need you're going to need some form of adapter. Now in one case you really just need RCAs. In another case, you need something that's going to take about 20 volts of input. This particular piece, because it has line level input, allows you to solve that problem. Meaning you can line level directly into this you can solder on RCAs, put it right into this, and this then now will allow you to use this as a line driver because that deck is only got like not even 2 volts of output, so you can turn the level input on this and get a nice 4 volt output to go in your amplifier so that you can keep the distortion down low, keep that gain stage away from that amplifier so you're gaining it up before the amplifier, which is keeping it nice and clean. Or if you run into the situation where it is the digital into the amplifier, so you're going to have to go after the amplifier, well now you have your 20 volts of input that you can put into this via line level input. So either way, whatever you had in that car, this would allow you to hook it up and get the best signal possible out of the output here. So this is a unique tool that will allow you to do RCA or low level input as well as high level input. It's kind of cool in their sense. Now another function for this is if you were to buy this and put this into a car, and you've set it all up and you're like, awesome, cool, and then you upgraded to a new radio. Let's say you got it's like, I want CarPlay, so you buy one of the entry-level Pioneer, Kenwood, Alpine CarPlay units. Well, the output on those isn't all that great, meaning it's not a real 4 volt output, it might be a 2 volt output. So now, no problem, you run the new RCAs into here. You can get your 4 volt out of this, and there again you're gaining up before the input stage of the amplifier, keeping that down nice and good, nice and clean. The power supply in this is not that power supply. So you're getting the best gain possible into that amplifier. Now don't drive this up to 9 volts and be crazy like that, because it's not really what you're trying to do. You're just trying to make sure that you have the best amount of usable signal going into that amplifier. But the input on this allows you to have choices. And that's really what we need when we're trying to design a system and we don't have all the answers. Is we need something like this that is a tool that will allow us to solve multiple problems. So if I bring this with me and I'm getting into the car, I can do I can solve both problems with one tool. So check them out. Head over to AudioControl.com. Check out the LC1i as your new form of high-level or low-level inputs into your amplifiers. Okay.
What's your guys' view on Rockford Fosgate? Thank you for the $199.
Well, I mean, if I'm viewing them right now, it's like right behind me over this shoulder right here beneath the Elevate is a P300. That's about the view I have. So it's a little down and to the left.
No, it's awesome. Awesome brand. Yeah.
I mean, when you're asking about brands... there's products that certain manufacturers make that are solutions to problems, and they do it really well.
Thank you, Anthony.
And they do some of the problems and solve them really well. The Mini T-Series amplifiers are one of those things that they do that just, it works phenomenally. The Power Series components, the T2s, one of our favorites for just affordable, loud speakers that just, like, oh my God, you know. The P3 subwoofer, one of my personal favorites. So yeah, I mean
P8. That's the 8. I love the 8. It's nice. Dean.
Yeah.
I need your help.
Okay.
With the Mosconi DSP, how can I get you to teach me how to use it? Thank you for the $20, man.
Man, I wish I could give you a really good answer for how to use that, but that is one of the most difficult DSPs to use. Mosconi's been trying to do a lot of training on that, and it's a tough one, man. It is a tough one.
I mean, at some point we're gonna do
at some point we'll do some form of a
we're gonna do a review on that one.
But I'm not there yet to be where I can just be like, hey, just do this, because that is a little bit different animal than most of the DSPs that we talk about for you guys. We have one, and it's fun. But it's definitely something it's not an easy DSP to play with. It sounds great, sound is amazing, but it's definitely not the. All right, wait. Let me do one more. Slow it down, killer. This is the end of the show. We're in. Okay, so and before we wrap this up, what we want to do this week was totally one of the coolest weeks for us this year. Not a lot of those can be said, but. This is a project that we have been working on. This is what led to the 12-volt Clean Wire Club. When we decided to come out with that, this was why. These guys right here are what we were working on. We got set back about 6 months on it because of extenuating circumstances.
A little bit more than that, but
yeah, probably.
Yeah, because when we started, like, okay, we're gonna come up with this, it's like, all right.
And then something
happened, and more happened, and more happened.
We had to kind of just put it on the back burner.
Yeah.
Anyways, the idea behind this was to let you guys have access to a tool that allow you to do the wiring fast, efficient, make it pretty. Just, you know, if you're into the zip tie world, okay. If you're not, it's okay. We wanted it to be affordable. So $25, you get the 2 pieces. You get the long piece, you get the short piece. You pick the color you want.
Yeah.
So we wanted it to be where everyone could use it. We tried to make it so that it's super easy to use. But you can pick it up at mobilesolutions-usa.com.
Yeah.
If you buy 2 of them, you can get the double pack. The double pack is $40, so you can go in with a friend and you'll save $10, which I think is great.
And you kids can use it as a regular ruler, you know. Let me grab this, grab that. Hey man, why not?
So we're going to be talking about this forever now,
yes,
because we're super excited to have these. We put a lot of effort into this, a lot of money into this to make it happen. So this is pretty cool. If you guys want, you know, if you want to support the show or you want to support clean wiring,
support the show, support.
Head over to Mobile Solutions, pick yourself up one of these, pick whichever color you want. And that's it. That's all we're going to talk about those. If you want to see it in action, head over to the 12 Volt Clean Wire Club and check out the video we did in the announcements. Yeah. And then I just posted a picture of the finished product so you can see what it looks like. We will be doing more videos on them to show it. It's just, it literally went from 0 to have it shipped and ready to go in the matter of like 5 days. So it has been crazy here, but we're super excited to actually finally have these done and be able to share them with you. Because this is one of the things that we've been trying to do. Now, the nice thing about it's got a little cool, you can just hang it on a nail right there. Easy access. The reason why it's these colors is because of those you put something on a workbench, what happens? You lose it. You can't find it. So we put a link to it in the show notes, so if you want to just head over there, there is one there. DNF Tool Drawer is a place you can go and find all the cool tools we use. That's right, DNF Tool Drawer right here. We talked about it earlier on the show. The links are down below. And of course, if you want to get a cool t-shirt, head over to teespring.com/store/5star, where you can find all the cool new stuff that we have. Winter is coming, so make sure you pick yourself up a hoodie to keep yourself nice and warm.
All right.
They come in all different sizes. $35, I think, is the price of the... There's a couple different ones, whether you want zippers or not. So, various price points. Of course, we have t-shirts. We have everything there. It's awesome. It's cool. We're also on Patreon, so if you want to support the show and you're one of those guys that likes to give Patreon money, you can find us there as well. What do you got?
Okay, so this is going to be the last one. Ethan dropped $10. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
And then I lost it. That's awesome. I'm sorry. Would you recommend a DSP for a 5-channel system? 4 2-ways, 6x8s, and 1 10JL audio sub, a single.
I recommend a DSP for every system out there, and here's why. If you want maximum control to guarantee the best possible result of what you've just spent your money on, a DSP is going to give you the ability to do that. And I say the ability because it isn't going to be easy. The nice thing about a DSP is you don't have to do it all at once. It's a learning tool. You figure out how to use it, you play with it a little bit more. But once you've mastered it, or at least gotten to figure out how to use the thing, it will make all your sound better. You don't have to use all the features. Like, for example, you may not want to use time alignment. You may just want to use the 31 band EQs that are in there. You may not want to tune left and right. You might just want to tune front and rear. A DSP will give you the ability to do these things and make your sound system that much more enjoyable. So yes, whether you have a factory radio, whether you have an aftermarket radio, whether you have a 5-channel amp, a 2-channel amp, I don't care. A DSP done properly and with some time will make every system sound better. And after all, the only reason why we do this is to make stuff sound better, right? I mean, that's why we're all here. You got anything else?
Mike Tyson, man. Mike Tyson.
I know,
for Mike Tyson
Dude,
tonight.
He looks amazing. I actually worked on Roy Jones Jr.'s cars. Melvin, he was a Melvin customer. He had a pink T-Rex. We had to put a stereo in a pink T-Rex that he had. It was the most annoying thing ever. And then Melvin took it and he just did donuts in the back. Not here, because you couldn't do that here. But yeah, just donuts. I'm like, glad you did that. Yeah.
All right, guys.
That's it. That's it. That takes us to an hour. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Thank AudioControl for being a sponsor of the show today. Make sure you head over to mobilesolutions-usa.com. Pick up yourself up a set of wire rulers. Christmas is coming for sure. So if one of your loved ones is like, what do you want? I want one of these. I mean, it's got our name on it. I mean, 5-star right there. I know. How cool is that? And that's it. AudioControl is a member of the 12 Days of Christmas. Don't forget, those are coming up the 7th. We'll talk more about those next week as it gets even closer. Because next week is going to take us to... Yeah, even closer.
Even closer, exactly.
Even closer. So it's coming.
Yesterday.
Yeah. And actually, the LCQ1 is one of the things that is going to be given away on the 12 Days of Christmas.
Thank you to AudioControl.
A DM608, an LC 1.800, an LC2i Pro. Lots of fun stuff. Man, it's going to be awesome. December is going to rock. But yes, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Remember, it's Saturday night. I hope you're feeling all right.
It's boxing time.
Listen, if you're going to watch the boxing, you're going to go to friends and do it because where you live, you can still do silly stuff like that. Remember, Don't drive home drunk. Don't do stupid things or high or whatever it is that the kids are doing these days. Uber, Lyft are cheap. Sit in the back seat, wear a mask, pay the money. Or stay home and have everyone come to your house.
Money.
I don't know. But either way, you need to be safe out there, guys, because we need you back here on Monday on Facebook for the Monday Night Facebook Show. 6:30 as always over there on Facebook. Of course, you can find us all the time on Instagram. We love to go live in the middle of the day and take some more of your questions and show you what you're working on. So follow us everywhere.
All right,
That's
guys.
how you're going to win stuff on the 12 days of Christmas. Social media, guys. Social media.
Bye.
Bye.